at the season 2 of Nona Sportscast. We're here with two special players for Nona FC this year. We're going to have some fun conversations here. And we're excited to have this new season. There will be some interesting things that we're going to be talking, some good guests we're going to have every Friday around the same time based on guest availability. But it's going to be interesting for us to be getting ready for the next season over the summer. We're going to be talking to a lot of cool people, and I'm here today with one returning player from last year, Tarik, and Soren, that was able to debut with us at the Nona FC Open Cup this year. So, guys, welcome.
Yeah, good to be here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, so I hope this is not uncomfortable for you guys. We're going to try to have a easy and breeze conversation, so we're not too don't feel bad. Just let's have a friendly conversation. I'm not here to make you feel bad, even though I'm gonna try to get some insights from you growing up and the girls, and you're a big hit
already.
Yeah. big hit here in Lake Nona with the girls, I hear. So we'll be that's not it. Okay, so Tarik and Soren, welcome. So Tarik, I'll start with you. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how where you're from? Well, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm 23 from Germany originally. I'm going here to college in East Tennessee. And this summer and last summer, I decided to play USL 2 to just see the next level soccer-wise and yeah, get new experiences in the soccer world.
What about you, Soren? What
Well,
can you tell us about yourself?
I'm 24 years old. I'm from Denmark. I just finished my last year of eligibility for college. I've been playing for 5 seasons. I played my first 4 years at Wingate University in North Carolina, and then I finished my eligibility my last year at Florida Tech, which is where I got in contact with Nona as well. Studying business administration, doing my master's right now, and this is my 3rd year playing USL 2, first year with Nona.
Cool. And I think there's a huge curiosity, I think, and with a lot of conversations, that we're an academy that is focused mostly on the youth development and that growing up. And I think this is a good topic of conversation, that you guys are 2 European players from completely. I don't want to talk about Germany because it still hurts me, the 7-1. So I'm going to start with Norway. Look, he's laughing. He was probably not even born in there. So, but we're going to start talking about how is it? How do you feel? Because here in the U.S., a lot of the parents, a lot of the all of the kids growing up and stuff, they say, "Oh, soccer it's better in Europe, or soccer is better in South America." Like, how was it for you in Denmark? And I say Norway. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you say that again, I'm gonna have to leave.
Yes, I didn't say Norway. I was watching an interview for Holland. They're playing tomorrow. That's probably why. So I'm sorry, Denmark. Okay. And I want to get with you to learn more from you guys. How is it to grow and develop as a soccer player back at home?
I'd say soccer is, I don't know, maybe it's more developed back home in the sense that it's obviously the main sport. That's how it is in Denmark,
Nah, it's handball.
Yeah,
it's a better handball than soccer. So
we're probably better at handball. But I'd say, like, growing up, we have some really good academies. I think Denmark produces some great talents, which also makes the competition harder. Even though we're a small country, it's hard. There's a lot of good players. So that was my experience, and I didn't come over here because I thought it would be easier, but more in the sense that I wanted to try something else. And I've been positively surprised over here, I'd say, and you just see every year so much is happening in all the leagues, all the academies, and I think in a few years America is going to be definitely up there.
Cool. What about for you, Tarik?
I totally agree. gotta say, I feel like when you grow up in America and you're a good athlete, you tend to go to American football or to basketball. Soccer is, since I'm here, is growing. The whole, like, it's getting bigger and bigger, and with the World Cup coming up in 2026, I think soccer is going to be one of the main sports in the United States too. But so far, I feel like when you're a good athlete, you go to these sports, and that's why many players I've met just start playing soccer way later than we do in Europe usually. Like I started when I was, I think, 4 or 5, and I've met college players that started when they were 12, 13, which is, I guess, gives us a bit of a head start there.
So you think that the time when you start, it's where it's more the biggest difference? Do you think?
I'd say so, yeah.
What about from what you've seen here in terms of the quality of the coaches and stuff in comparison to what you had back at home for both of you?
I feel like the emphasis here is more on being physical and being fit and very strong. While in Europe, it's more tactical and more technical. But I mean, it's developing here too, and the quality of the play is definitely getting better too.
And you think the same thing, then, Mark?
I think that's. I mean, it's definitely generalizing, saying that it's like that all over America. That's focused on the the physical, but I think maybe it comes from like some of the American sports as well, because they're very physical, like basketball and American football, even baseball as well. But yeah, I'd say back home, I think America is ahead on that aspect, honestly, in creating athletes like physically. I think where we're still ahead in Europe is like the understanding of the game itself. I think not only in Europe but like in other parts of the world where soccer is historically really big.
I know defending my market, right? I'm from Brazil, but I've been here 25 years, so I spend more time here, and I've been working with soccer for a good part of those years, and I play soccer my whole life during academies and stuff, and I think that is something that was created 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, saying that here in the U.S. it was physical and stuff, and because I 100% agree with you. Uh, U.S. creates the best athletes,
Hmm.
always have. You
Hmm.
know, if you look in every single sport, we have that. But I also agree with you that if you don't start early enough, you're not going to get there. So I
Hmm.
believe that the kids now, the issues here are that the kids are between 4 and 15. They play multiple sports here in the US. In Brazil, and I'm sure in Europe, they just pick one and just run with it.
Hmm.
So you're going to have more technical, you're going to have more understanding of the game. And then the kids watching the game on TV, the kid here in the US, like there's so much information coming to the kids that, kids will learn how to offsides, for example,
Hmm.
later on, which for us, offside is offside. It's so natural, it's normal. You
Yeah,
have offsides in the
it's the basic understanding of
little
the
league,
game.
exactly. So I think, but at the same time, there's a huge mixture of this. The Nona FC team this year, we have 9 different uh, countries that represented in Nona FC. You
Hmm.
have a lot of Brazilians, you have some Africans, you have some Central Americans, you have Europeans, and all of you guys are growing in the US to kind of try to play here. So it's a nice transition to see that, and more uh, young athletes like you guys going to either be playing pro here in the US, or you guys going to work somehow in the soccer industry. And I think that is something that we are improving. But I still think there's a lot of old school mentality here in the US that we have to break through. And I think Nona, it's innovative on these things, on the things that we're trying to do here. Is like turning heads, and people are like, how this guys 7 years ago started this program, and now we're in the headlines when it comes to USL2. We're in the headlines on the youth. So I think more. And not to brag about what we've done here, but I think more innovative leaders in the programs and the clubs, kind of getting more young people like you guys to kind of get involved. I think is going to help, and I believe that this is it's growing. To be honest with you, this conversation that you guys have getting out of college now, I had it in 2005 when I graduated. Oh, US is going to be there, and it's slower than I thought it would be.
Okay.
I wish I had seen a little bit more advancement on when it comes to the game itself, but it is improving, and it's the country that soccer grew the biggest in the last 10 years. So
I think maybe America is still trying to find like an identity in soccer and like figure out like what works. You see like leagues change all the time, then they come with the MLS Next Pro and stuff like that. Like they're still trying to like find the click where where they can settle. And I think once they find that, I think we're gonna see like some advancement.
and then what do you think uh, about the pro side? You mentioned the MLS Next Pro. From what do you guys see? What do you guys know about what we have here? How do you see it? How is it? Is it something that you like the product? You like what you see on TV? You like the? Of course, we're not gonna go through this without talking about Messi coming to Miami. So how is it for you? I have to tell you, I have a hard time watching the MLS, the first division.
Yeah.
But I don't know the players. I don't know the teams, and maybe I'll catch the 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the final game after the playoffs. But I really like to see the academies. I'm going to Frisco, Texas next week to watch the MLS playoffs because we were in California last year watching the MLS Next Fest, and there's some great talent coming up, through the academies. I think Orlando City does a great job here. We've been spending a lot of time there, and other clubs in the country, they're doing a really good job. So how do you guys see that product? How do you guys see that? Because that's where is the highest we have here.
You think about the pro side or the
Yeah.
academy? Yeah, the pro side. I'd say depends on how you look at it. Really, I think from an entertainment perspective, America is like perfect. Like they know how to create events and make it very attractive for fans and stuff, which is also very important when they're trying to grow the sport. I think one thing that I always talk about is like the system of the leagues in America. Like there's no promotion, relegation, no natural promotion and relegation. It's all about funding, really, and I think that takes away some of the charm of the game. I think 'cause that's what we're used to from back home.
What do you think, Tarik?
That's absolutely what I was going to say. That I feel like it's very entertaining because the level is pretty good. You got to admit that. But I feel like it's lacking some emotion when you know there's nothing really on the line. When your team has a bad year, it is what it is. And some teams go, I think you call it tanking, and they just play a year where I know they do it in the NFL when they play a year where they know they're not going to be good this year because they get a higher draft pick. That would never happen in Europe, because if you play a bad year, you get relegated and you lose a lot of money. And here it's not the same. So I think some of the emotions that are involved and that are important to me when I watch soccer are missing there in that part.
Yeah, in Brazil, my team lost the first two games of the national championship, and we were worried about delegation already.
Hmm.
All they talk about is delegation, and it's like the Brazilian season just started 2 months
Oh.
ago.
But that's part of the game. I mean, if you don't have the lows, then you can't really have the highs. So
Yeah,
if you know nothing's going to happen if we have a bad season, then I don't know. You
But
probably don't appreciate the good season.
I think America has this prejudice against the product here because that's how it's done everywhere else in the world, right? But then we look back and we say um, it works here in every other sport, right? And it's profitable. It's perfect in every other sport. So you go football. Can you imagine if you delegate the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, no.
It doesn't go into Americans' mentality or the way that they do. So we're expecting kind of to change their way as well. The way I look at it with Nona FC, for example, I'll give you a secret. And we played around last year. You probably know where I'm coming when you were here last year. I said, guys, we can't win because if we win, we have to travel. And if we travel, it becomes very expensive for the club to keep traveling.
Hmm.
And then in Europe, it's small. So if you are in Denmark or if you're in Germany and you play the Bundesliga, for example, you pretty much, you can be a national champions with the size of Florida, right? I'm exaggerating, of course, but you could be. Here, man, if we win Nona FC, like wins the it's like it's every time we go out, it's 30 grand that we
Mm.
have to spend, you know. And can you imagine we get delegated, for example,
Mhm.
if Miami or Orlando City or whatever team then in the team get delegated, and you go to USL two for or USL Championship, for example, it becomes expensive.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think it's because of the size of the country. Our expectation when it comes to soccer and promotion delegation gets really hard, and I don't know how they're going to do it. And I'm not against promotion delegation, but I don't know if it's going to work in this model. It's just I have my opinion. I love to see a team that is fighting through the points because so they don't have the delegation,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it's can the model and the size of the country really support that? So I don't know. I don't know about that. And what I don't like is the playoff situation.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I like.
Yeah, let me tell you, I don't like the playoff situation.
To
We
fair, in
go
Germany, you have Bayern Munich who's winning every year. So if there was a playoff structure, you might have like one day where Bayern Munich doesn't play well and a different team plays better than Bayern,
True.
and you have a different champion. So I would love to see that in Germany, actually.
well, but in Germany it would be the top 8 for the whole country,
Yeah.
right? Here you have the conferences, so
Uh,
you have a team going in autopilot for the whole season, and then right before playoffs go, they win 3 games, and then they qualify in 8th to playoffs,
Yeah. That's true.
and then
happened to us last year.
happened to us last year. We were first, and then we qualified, and I don't know if I like that. I like the points, but again, we're trying to redesign here. But this is good, interesting conversation because
Mm.
we can keep going back and forth and try to find the best way to do that. So let's talk about college. It's probably 70% of our players here at Nona. That's where the main goal is, right? To go to college. And how was it for you guys to come from Europe and get? First of all, tell us how was that process? How did you ended up in college? What did you have to do? Um, how was the process for you to get a scholarship to go to college coming from Europe?
Well, I contacted an agent through my previous club, and he just gave my contact to different coaches in the United States, and then they reached out to me, and I got a few offers, and then I chose the best one. And
That
I
was
don't
easy.
regret my. It was that easy, yeah.
But what's the preparation being English a German player? What was the prerequisites for you to go there? Grades and
Yeah, grades have to. They're a big factor actually because they also decide whether you get a good scholarship or not. Then I had to take an English test, then the SAT, which is general knowledge test. Um, Other than that, yeah, I had to do a highlight video of my time in Germany, which my agent sent around then, and then I think that's all.
it was it the same process in Denmark?
Yeah, more or less. I would say I felt like it was long, the process. Like for me, it lasted a year basically. I was coming out of high school, and I thought I was never going to study again. I was so done with it. Didn't have the best grades, and I got contacted by this agency, and they talked about the possibility of playing because I just wanted to play after. I just wanted to keep playing, and then they told me about the opportunity of playing and studying at the same time over here and traveling, and I thought that was really interesting. So I started the process relatively early, halfway through my senior year of high school, and it wasn't until February the year after that I signed with a club. But they helped me a lot with streamlining the whole process because otherwise I would have never known what to do. Like we had as you said, the test of English as a foreign language, TOEFL test, SAT test. They helped me. I created a highlight video. They helped me promoting me to different schools and stuff. So yeah, I would say without the company that I was working with, it would have been tough. I would have probably given up on the whole thing. But
And that is, both of you had an agency that worked throughout this, which
Yeah.
is interesting to know, because we have an agency here with one of our coaches,
Mhm.
and I wanted to give him a shout out to Carlos, Coach Carlos with Arrow, and this is how important it is for us to have an agency to help, because they have the contacts, they know what the coaches are looking for, and it's the same in the pro side. Having an agency is an agent is important. So Coach Carlos, we're going to be talking to you maybe in the next couple of podcasts. I want to bring you here so we can explain to our American kids on how we can get through that. So another thing that I wanted to ask you, and then what? And then you guys, all right, I got a scholarship. I'm going to the U.S. And then you arrived. 2 guys from Europe arrived in college. Then what? How was the process? How was that first day in college, and what was the easy things? What did you like the most, and what was the hardest things that you guys faced throughout this process? So,
My start was pretty weird actually, because it was right during COVID, and I was pretty much by myself in the first few weeks. Of course, I had my teammates, which was basically my whole social circle, but then COVID. I mean, it took a while until COVID got better, but the restrictions got less, and we got more freedom. So I got to go more out and meet more people. But for example, classes, we had no in person. I think I had one in person class because they were required for my visa. I think that was the hardest challenge for me, just making new friends outside my soccer team.
it's interesting that your generation had that. I've completely forgot that you guys had that during your sophomore and freshman year, huh? So oof, I can only imagine. You came in, you left home, and you came to a different country to go to school, and COVID hit.
Pretty much stuck in our room the whole time.
Oh my God! I had that issue with my son, with Lehi, and but Lehi graduated 6 months early, right? He came home 6 months early, so he's a little bit older than you guys, and it was, he didn't have graduation, he didn't have a bunch of stuff, so I forgot about that. It seems like it was 30 years ago, COVID, and it was during your college life. But then after that went by, you're still in college now. How is it for you now that things are quote unquote back to normal?
It depends on if we're in season or off season. Off season, we have more time for school, focus on school stuff. When we're in season, actually, with all the traveling, sometimes it gets hard and very intense to combine school and soccer, because our away games, sometimes we travel 8 hours, then sleep at night, then play the game and travel at night and have to go to school the next morning. And it can be very tiring. So I think that's, for me, the hardest part, just managing everything and getting everything done on the field and off the field.
You know how much I missed that? Zero.
I
I remember, man, it was tough. We went to Jacksonville the other day, and coming back after a loss, I was in that bus like, oh my God, I don't miss this at all.
Terrible.
When you win, you come in and but when we lose, man, it's tough. And then you're having to go to school the next day. So
the trip feels like double as long.
I know. How was it for you, Soren, to your first day, and what was that transition for you like?
I'd say it was pretty smooth, honestly, because I started in 2018, so that was before COVID hit and everything. I was really nervous, actually, like especially like having to go to school speaking another language, and I didn't know how well off I was, so I was very nervous about that. But I quickly learned that I was pretty well off. Like, luckily, I think in Denmark in general, like, we speak English pretty well. Like, so I was fortunate enough with that. Like, I looked at some of my other teammates; they were struggling more, and so I think I was a step ahead on that aspect in terms of compared to these other people. So, but yeah, it was smooth, and I'm grateful that I was on a team. Honestly, I'm thinking, I was looking at some of these other people, internationals coming in, just going to college without being on a team. Like, you have to go out, make friends and stuff when you play on a team and you train together every day. I feel like you have that support system. You build friendships really quickly. So that definitely helped me a lot. Yeah. So it was pretty good, honestly, and I liked it a lot.
And soccer wise, and that's one of the things that I tell every international player that comes here to play with us, and any of my friends that comes from Brazil, and they say, "Oh, let's go to the U.S." because their mentality is that it's physical, but we're better players and stuff. And I say, guys, for you to have success in soccer in the U.S., we have to respect soccer in the U.S. Right? Because I thought it was much easier to play soccer in Brazil than it is here. Back in my days was much easier because we don't focus as much on the physicality. So the game back in the days, like 20 years ago, the game was a little bit more played. So if you have technique, you do. Now you have to add the technique to the power and the intensity the whole time. So I thought it was much easier to play at home than it was to play here.
But it's also the way you're shaped, like when
I
you're
was
back
never
home.
in shape.
No, but like the way you're developed, because you're developed under those terms at home. So
perfect.
it's always relative, when you come over here and it's different, it will be hard, like no matter what. I remember my coach at my first Wingate, he always said, like, for internationals, there's always a year or two adaptation to learn how to play the game over here. You might think, or you might have been like the best at home, but you come over here and it's a different game, and it takes time to adapt to that.
And what do you think, Tarik? That it was easier than you expected?
No, definitely harder than
Did
I
you have
expected.
the challenge? And
No, exactly what he just said. Like I needed 1 year to get used to not even the level, but more the intensity of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, practice, when you practice with the same guy, it was during COVID, so I just practiced with the same guys for over a year. And at some point, it's sad, but the intensity is going to go down because you just face the same people every day. You know how everyone is playing. But then when we got to play other teams, that I was actually a bit surprised by the intensity and the quality that other college teams have too, because practice compared to games is a whole different level.
Yeah, and I completely agree. It was so it's funny how, again, I keep going back to that because we hear all the time parents saying, "Oh, it's so much better in Europe," or "so much better in Brazil." And for you guys and me, that we see what it is, we see a good level. Oh, can we compare Pulisic with Vinny Jr.? Probably not. But that's like, but the level, I think the average player, we probably have better average players or developing more qualified average players than other countries, because there's 300 million here or more. In Brazil is half of that. So as much as we are adding there, when the US starts moving like they're doing now, like I told you, MLS Next, there's some great potential in MLS Next.
And they have the resources.
And they have the resources. You see the structure that you guys go in here at Lake Nona Performance Club. You see 12-year-olds working out there. Like my kids, they're doing training, and then they do personal coaching, and then they do fitness, strength and conditioning. I'm like, can you imagine if I had that when I was, it's insane. So I don't know. I think when everybody starts understanding that the game is not just the flashy and fancy stuff that you see on Champions League, for example. There's much bigger, broad audience than that, and I think we're gonna be just as good, if not competing. I had a conversation with an MLS coach here in this podcast, Oscar Pareja from Orlando City, and I say, Oscar, when are we going to win, right? Because 20 years ago, I said, U.S. was going to be top 10 in the World Cup, or top 5 or whatever. And he mentioned something interesting to me. He said, Fabio, only one's going to win, right? So all the other 31 countries that are playing the World Cup, how much everybody is improving. And I'm like, that's interesting. And he says, we have like Nigeria and Ghana, and always the same, always a strong team, and they always gives us other countries a hard time. Saudi Arabia. They beat,
Mhm.
but it's always kind of the same. They go up and down, but the same. U.S. from when we were 20 years ago, the biggest improvement was probably the U.S.
Absolutely.
We missed the World Cup last time. Whatever happened there, but then I think the improvement, the MLS is probably one of the leagues that's worth more money. Miami today was valued at $1 billion. It's like
Including Messi, or?
including Messi. Yeah.
Okay.
But you get two with the price to purchase Inter Miami today or Orlando City or MLS franchise, any of them. You can probably buy two teams in the Championship League in Europe. And
Beckham made a good deal there, huh? When
he made a good deal. I was reading the news today, and I was like, holy moly. But so then you guys went to college. You guys are still, you graduated, but you're still you're graduating now, right?
Yeah, July 29.
July. Nice. And you're still a freshman?
I'm
Junior.
entering my senior year.
Senior year now. You just finished.
You look like a
man.
freshman.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll take it as a compliment.
So we have then you guys played in college. You guys been successful in college. You've done the whole scholarship thing, and then USL 2. You played USL before. That's your first year with Nona, and then you're with the second year with Nona. Did you play USL before that? No. Is it really the next level when it comes to college? Did you see that difference? Is it every team or is the conferences? What can you tell me about USL 2?
I think individually there are definitely players that are on the next level. The thing about USL 2 is that we only have 3 months, so it's very hard to build team chemistry, which I think is one of the major parts about a successful team. So individually, there are definitely players that are better, and I mean, as a club, as clubs, I feel like there are teams that are very good. There are also teams that fall off a little bit. So I think, especially for guys like me who don't play for the biggest college, I mean, if we're honest, ETSU is not the biggest college, so it's good to see the next level for sure. And here at Nona, I think we have great players. So I feel like everybody's improving and pushing each other every day. So it's a great environment.
What did you play USL 2 before?
I played Tri-City Otters last year and Charlotte Eagles the year before that. But I agree with Tarik and me coming from D2 as well. Like there are a lot of quality teams in D2. It's very international based as well. But it varies a lot. Like the bottom of D2 is obviously lower level, but it's the same here in USL 2. It varies a lot. Some teams obviously collect better players and have a better setup and stuff, and that shows. But I think the level is really high because the players that choose to stay for the whole summer and play are the players that are motivated to go pro. People that want to achieve something with their soccer. So you collect a lot of the best players, and the level is really high.
And we got stuck here in Florida with all these international people, great weather, beautiful places. All the top players in the country comes here for USL 2. You played in Charlotte, you said. Is it our conference here? Do you think is stronger than what you saw up there, or?
It's hard to say so far. I think it's really strong here, but it was strong in the conference we played there. They play in a different conference now. But there are some last year with Tri-City Otters. There were some quality teams in the conference, Asheville and Knoxville. But yeah, I think all the conferences I've played in, they have really good teams, and then they have other teams that struggle a bit. But I haven't seen one of the struggling teams here. We played Brevard in the first game, but I think they gave us a very good, a hard game. Honestly, like the score was 4-0, but it could have been different. Definitely.
And I think we have a unfair advantage this year because 60% of our team started the season in February with US Open Cup, and we're fortunate enough that we kept everybody. So fitness-wise, we are way ahead because even the college guys that were in the spring season, it's not as it's a lot of strength and conditioning. If you don't know, the soccer season in college is in the fall, and then in the spring they play Division One, Division Two. They probably play 8 games, and then it's a lot of catching up schoolwork or fitness and training to get ready for the next season. So for us, we got the guys in February. We prepared. So even though it was, in my opinion, it was a little bit hard to keep the chemistry because it's a lot of downtime. We had 2 games in the Open Cup and then a month and a half off until we start getting all the other players. So it's something that we're going to have to live with. But we have an advantage of the other clubs. I think fitness-wise, we are
And
second.
bonding-wise.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
bonding and everything. We've been playing together, and I think that's an advantage for us. But and you as a comparison for you, how was it? I'll start with you, Tarik, because a lot of people say this is extremely important for us, for a player like you wanting to come back for the second year, and I'll tell you why. We're going back and we're an academy and the relationship with your college is important for us. So bringing you here and taking good care of you and give you the structure from the gym, the recovery, the high level training, Coach Guy, who's amazing, giving you back 100% to your college coach is going to respect our program.
Absolutely.
So when our players are coming up, he's going to be a contact for us to take our players. So what made you choose us in the first year last year, and what made you come back this year for Nona?
First year, I know Gabby was recruited by Guy before me, and then just Gabby passed on my contact, told Guy that I'm looking for a summer league team, and vice versa. Gabby told me that it's not just a random USL2 team, that we're trying to build something here to win the league and do something big. And I think that was the main reason the first year why I came here. And I mean, for our first season, it was a pretty good year too. It was a bit disappointing at the end. And that's, I guess, why I came back in the second year too, because it kind of felt like unfinished business. And then Coach Guy, that ties back to the academy part. He sent me a video of one of the kids, and he asked him which of the players, if you could bring one player back, which would you bring back? And the guy, he said my name. So I was pretty happy about that. So it means a lot to me when people see what we do here, and that was probably the main reason why I came back the second year, the unfinished business part.
What about you, Soren? What made you choose us? Of course, Open Cup was a big selling point. But what made you choose Nona to play USL this year?
Obviously, I don't have a college season coming up after this, so whether or not I was even gonna play USL2, I didn't really know. But I knew that if I was to do it, I wanted to be somewhere where it was a great setup, and I wanted to be somewhere where I could progress as a player. So that was what I was looking for. And I found that in Nona. Also with the Open Cup, like, it was a great opportunity for me to get tested at a higher level. So that's what I was looking at, an organization that was well structured and with high ambitions, like myself.
You know what the cool thing is? I'm sitting here in front of you guys, and you guys had 2 amazing experiences at Nona. And me, I don't miss playing soccer. I don't. There's not one day that I live today that I say, oh, I miss the game so much as a player. I don't. But once we created this club and we see all the emotional games and all of the fun things that we've done throughout the last 7 years, there's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of wins and losses. But you guys had probably two of the best experiences that we've had as a club. So I'm going to start with Tarik again. Winning the first season ever with Nona FC last year, and all of those games, the Villages games that we had an amazing 2-0 in 25 minutes, and then we had a rain delay. The Villages came back like they were fighting for their lives, and they almost came back on us. It was ended 2-1, and Cole made an amazing save towards the end, and then we kept going, and Florida Elite coming back here and losing to Florida Elite in Jacksonville, then winning the whole thing. How was that experience? And you know how you knew coming in that we were a new team.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that we had to prove. And even though it's a development club, that we had everything set up for you guys, I think probably one of the best programs in the country today. And I'm proud to say that because we do have one of the best USL programs in the country. But how was it for you to actually, oh man, this is working. We're winning.
Yeah.
We're going through the season. And
I'm going to take the Florida Elite game last year and the Villages game. I think those two games were the two very defining moments or games for us, because I think the first game against Florida Elite we lost, and before that we thought we were unbeatable, and that was a very humbling moment. And I think from that moment on, we knew we have to actually do something to build something. And then I think we went unbeaten the rest of the season. And then when we played Florida Elite, not Florida Elite, the Villages, who won the conference every year so far, and we beat them at their place. That was the moment for me, at least, where I was like, well, we're actually building something big here. And yeah, obviously bad ending, but it was those two games were very defining in that sense. Yeah.
I think so too. And I love Florida Elite back at home when we had them.
Yeah.
You know, because that game over there was the same as this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it was a game that, you know, they scored 2 goals, early goals on us. And then when we came back, Allen had a bullet. And, you know, we almost came back. And in the last minute, they scored the last couple minutes, they scored the 3rd goal. It was a tough one. And then we came back and played them here. But the season was pretty much already done. And then you guys done all that work, all that hard work. We won the conference. We're the second best record in the country. And then you guys come in here and play the Open Cup, which they couldn't do it because they were still in college.
Just took all the praise.
It's like you win the Premier League and you can't play the Champions League after. Right? Well, that's so then that exciting moment that we were selected to play the Open Cup, and then Guy started building the team, and I think it's probably one of the most democratic tournaments in the country, and probably one of the best in the world, because you have teams like us having the opportunity to play Messi this year. Think about that, you know. And how was it, Soren, for you to come in and having the Lyon game was, to me, was probably one of the best games that I've witnessed here in Nona. And then the experience to play at the Rowdies after that, winning or losing that game, I think that whole picture, the Rowdy Stadium and St. Petersburg, the bus ride, and everything was just so breathtaking. I remember myself walking on to the field when you lost, and I was giving every single one a hug, and I think that picture, that vision for me would never leave my head. Even if we played the Champions League one day, I don't think that picture, because it was the first pro game in the stadium with a good crowd and stuff. How was it for the player?
Overall, it was just an amazing experience, I'd say. It wasn't until we played a lot of friendly games before the Lyon game, but I just remember, like, when we got to Austin Tyndall for the Lyon game and the stands were full, you know, that's when you realized who you're playing for. You know, you saw all the youth players out there, and it means so much, because you think back from when you were that age as well, and like to have role models like that is, you know, the people you're looking up to. So to be able to stand in that position was amazing, and we were giving good conditions. You know, we were taken care of. We lived like professional footballers or soccer players. Yeah, it was great. And the Rowdies game, winning the Lyon game first of all, was amazing as well, celebrating with the fans. So it was a great opportunity, and I knew I had to take it when I got the chance. You know, I spoke to my coaches at Florida Tech, because I was still training and playing with them for the spring, and yeah, I left everything there to come here and live that experience. They were very understanding of it, luckily. But yeah, we also knew that, or I knew that I was lucky and blessed to be able to play this because I didn't earn it. Like these were the guys that earned it.
earned
I knew Alan, the captain from last year, who was kind of the reason I'm here. So for me, like I was obviously playing for him, like knowing that these guys had given everything the year before for me to be in that position. So that was something that motivated me a lot.
Yeah. So this is what you can do now. You can work harder than everybody, so we can set up for the next guy to
Yeah,
play the
exactly.
Open Cup again. We keep doing that, no problem. That's the goal to
Yeah.
play Open Cup every year. And then as a club, though, it's as the leader of the club and the visionary behind the whole thing. Realistically, to beat the Rowdies or to beat that next level it's very hard for us. Statistically speaking, it's a one in a million. Maybe I said we have a chance to beat Lyon on a 80-20 chance to beat.
Mhm.
And when we go to the Rowdies, it was a 20-80 game,
Mhm.
and but that 20% could happen. It's at any point, and that's the beauty of this tournament. That's the beauty of this game because uh, the David can beat Goliath in a tournament like this, And this year, whoever does that will get an opportunity to probably play Messi. Can you imagine, like, in a situation like this? So it's a fantastic experience, and you guys were able to experience both of these experiences, and the best thing is you said that one of the reasons why you return is because you start connecting to the community and seeing that who you're playing for. And then for you, one of the biggest things that you see is like you have the record break attendance for Danny just told me 1,100 people at Austin Tindo that day. I don't think Austin Tindo never held the crowd like that for that game. And it goes back to the core values of the club, where we're a community club, and you guys are starting to come in and say, okay, I understand what it means to put this jersey on, and I think just by that, the profile of the Nona FC players just start forming. So it doesn't matter where you come from and how many years you do. When you come in here, you need to understand that this is a youth academy club, and we have to do that. So that's pretty cool, and I think you guys will do great things and for us, and as much as we can help you for the next step. So, what do you what's next? What do you guys want to do?
It's a very good question. Finished college, and then I don't know.
What you studying again, Tarik?
What am I
What are
studying?
you studying? What's your major?
Sport management with a minor in brewing and distillation studies. I'm very
what?
proud of brewing and distillation
Oh,
studies.
brewing. Okay, that's not bad.
So German.
Of course,
So
it's in my
German.
DNA.
Beer
What can I
fest.
do?
What's your majors? Sorry.
I did finance for my undergrad, and then I'm doing MBA, business administration, for my master's.
Cool. So Nona is hiring. We have a sports manager and a business administration finance background. So you can stop at HR and fill
All right,
up the
all right. I'm listening,
application.
I'm listening.
This will be great.
You go there, I go to Boxy Park.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, no, I'm not going to mention that. Thanks, Danny. But is soccer in the horizon? It's something that you guys want to do. What is the plan there?
For me, for sure. I don't know where yet, though. I'm gonna have some options here. I'm gonna have some options back home in Germany. For me, it's important to play on the highest level possible where I can, because our time on the field is limited, and I don't want to look back in 20 years and say, well, I could have played 10 more years on a higher level, and I didn't. And I think the sky's the limit, and we'll see where it takes me from after college.
What about you, Soren?
Yeah, same for me. I think I remember talking to Coach Guy about that. He said he wanted players that were hungry and wanted to go pro, and we all have a common goal to be successful with Nona, but we also have our own goals of going pro, and that's the same for me as well. It's something that's really hard to plan, but as long as I'm enjoying playing, I'm gonna keep going for it. So that's 100% what I want.
Okay, so we cannot hire them. They're gonna go play pro. So we're gonna have to take a break on that. We sign a pre contract if
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Or you go to
It's
USL
always good to have a
Championship.
plan B.
Known in the
Or
championship. Why
maybe we
not?
go
Yeah,
up
then we
to
can
the
talk, yeah, then we
championship,
can
and
talk.
everybody keeps asking me that. Take it easy, guys. We're not.
Put
we're
some pressure
not-
on you.
Yeah, I have that pressure, and it's funny you said that because there's a lot of people that even the league and everybody approaching me and saying, Fabio, what's next for Nona? And to be honest, I never knew. I not in a million years I thought we're gonna do something like USL two. And then the success of the program with the coaching staff and the development that we're doing on the coaching staff as well, because I think that's important. We're a developing club, and then it wouldn't be a good fit for me to bring an experienced coach on a development club. So we need to develop everybody. So Coach Guy, Coach Bruno, and the interns, everybody that we kind of working together, Danny, Lehi, all of the directors of the club, they are young too, and they are helping. I think that's why we're so on the edge on the ideas, and we kind of come up with things that are different. But USL 1 is on the horizon. I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe 2 years, 3 years. I don't know. But I think
You have my number.
we are we are we are working towards that, and we don't know. Of course, the investment from our side is going to be much higher, and then the championship it might be. I don't know. It's too far ahead. But a year ago when we started this, I said there's no way USL 1. And now I'm telling you, maybe. I don't have a deadline. I don't have a set date for it, but it is a maybe. And I think that's the first time I'm saying this. And I'm glad this podcast doesn't have a lot of viewers, and it's not gonna be tomorrow. All of
We'll
the
see after today. We have
Yeah.
the poster boy.
yeah, we have the
to
poster
see.
boy here. So, but yeah, and you tell me what's next. You tell me college and everything. And now here at Nona, how is it to live in the house with all of those crazy Brazilians? You can tell me. Come on. I wouldn't do it. I'll say, Gui, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
How's your Portuguese? Is it getting better?
They only teach you the bad words, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say any Portuguese words. I mean it can be so fun, a lot of music, but when the music plays at midnight, then it's not so fun, especially when we have practice at 8 a.m. the next morning. But it's just so interesting to we don't only have, as you said, Brazilian people. We have people from Africa, from all around the world. So it's so cool to see different cultures just interacting with each other. And we have differences, we have similarities, and sometimes it's good giving people space. Sometimes we all do things together. So it's a good mix, I'd say. It's very fun.
What about you? Sorry.
I agree. Pros and cons, like with anything.
I had to go there and wash the dishes that day.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I'm that nice.
That's the
for-
Brazilians, though. That's
Yes.
only the Brazilians.
I was watching. I'm gonna tell you. I went there, and I think the water was off for some reason. I think there was some problems, and we fixed the water. And I went there, and the guys were practicing, and the sink was just disgusting.
No.
So I got.
Oh,
in
you should
there.
come back with us today. It's gonna be the
I'm not
same.
washing the
No.
dishes again.
Maybe we can
And
fix
then
the fridge.
I started washing the dishes, and Soren, I don't know if he felt bad or anything, but he came next to me and he started drying the
Put
dishes.
more dishes.
Took Louder's 10 cups from his room.
So everybody started bringing cups from their room. They're right, and then next thing you know, I washed this whole mountain of things, and then there's more coming. I said, there's 700 water bottles under the beds in there. We realized that.
Mhm.
So, how was it? How is it for you with the house? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I remember that you and I had a dishwashing conversation.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. No, but I'm enjoying it. Sometimes, like some moments more than others, but for me, it was the same thing with college. Really, I just enjoy being with people because we're a big mixture of people from different cultures and backgrounds, and it's the same. Like one thing is when you practice, you see it in the game, but when you live together, you that's when you really see it. You know how people live. Like what they eat, like how they play music at midnight, stuff like that. So I think it depends on how you look at it. It's just a great learning experience, really, and I think I'm learning something every day. Some Portuguese as well.
I honestly don't understand how can they play so much music and dance so much. And I'm Brazilian and I don't do that, but maybe it's just me. I guess they are, but I think it's beautiful though. And I think if I can give you an advice, it's like, yeah, sometimes you want to sleep and they want to play music. Sometimes they want to play music and you want to whatever. But enjoy these moments because I think the memories of what I miss the most. I don't miss the dorm life. I don't, and I don't miss playing the game. But the friendships and the laughs and the FIFA tournaments, like you guys are talking about, I think that's what's the fun thing about that. So we're coming up with the Nona Esports tournament.
You can sign me for that as well
on the 19th.
You're not that good.
I heard that Tarik is the worst FIFA player.
Not the worst. Not the worst.
Anybody worse than you?
I know Cole and Max. And just for
Cole
the
is
record,
better than you. I don't know how you.
Gabby is worse than me too. I'm just gonna say, in case he's watching, Gabby, you're worse than me.
Max is the worst.
Max is
Now I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. Who's the best FIFA player?
Me.
That's probably Leandro.
Leandro is the best.
I think Leandro.
I haven't played him.
Who's the worst FIFA player?
That I've seen Max 100% or Tarik. I don't know. Between them two.
So if Tarik is the worst, I challenge you because I think you beat me. I'll be the worst player.
Okay.
Who's the dirtiest in the house?
Louder.
Louder's the worst. The
don't know.
dirtiest.
It's a high chance that the dishes you had to wash the other day was 90% louder.
Yeah.
Really?
In terms of that, yeah. But
Oh,
other than that, I don't know. It's hard when you're. So how many are we? 14. Sometimes things just pop out of nowhere, So suddenly the sink is just full of dishes, and you don't know where they come from. So.
We sent a lady to clean the house last week, and we found out of the 700 water bottles, 690 was under Lauder's bag.
Not surprised.
So
we told him that we're gonna start taking all the dirty stuff from the sink and put it in his bed if he doesn't start cleaning up after himself.
Yeah, Bruno said that they have a mouse in there that Lauder's feeding. Under
yeah.
I was gonna say
it's probably this big now.
So
that's how all the food went.
Yeah. Who's the fastest? Because I hear that there's this competition between Soren and Tarik to see who's the fastest player on the field.
You want to answer that?
Fastest on
Tarik
the field?
is so confident.
We can make a race.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay, so Danny, I think when we
behind
do
the scenes
social
No
media,
cameras.
social media next week, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
Tony
But,
Tuesday.
Tony has to
if he can
participate
sprint
as well.
by then again.
Yeah. See if I pull my hammy again.
So who's the funniest?
That's Leandro.
Leandro,
It
probably.
has to be Leandro.
Yeah.
The other day, where did we play? Was it when we had the weather delay, the away game?
Yes.
He's
And,
just a
and,
constant.
and we had to
movement.
sit in the locker room for 3 hours, and I mean the only reason why nobody went crazy was because he was dancing and cheering everyone up. It's so fun with him.
You know what's funny with Leandro? I tell people all the time, and I say, man, Leandro is such a talented player, and he made some good choices before him, some bad choices and stuff, but his charisma is so important for the team.
It's so contagious.
It's contagious because he's always happy. He's always in a good mood. He's always motivating people his own way. Sometimes he crosses the line and say, Leandro, it's like, oh, sorry, Prezi, sorry. But still, it's an important personality to have on the field. And it's a guy that played with Coutinho that we did the whole academy side in the highest possible level, and he played pro before. How is it for you guys, young players, to be able to share the field with a player like that?
It's a blessing. Like it's you can just tell he has something. Like even when we came for the Open Cup and he came back from Brazil, he was not fit at all. But still, when we were playing, he's just so much faster on the ball than everyone, and I mean, you can learn a lot from him. Maybe like I don't know. His English is not that well, so it's hard to, or not that good. So it's hard for him to explain stuff to you. But like when you play with him and you play with a player that plays the ball that fast, you're learning, you're developing.
And it's funny how leadership can be expressed in different ways, huh? Because I think that Leandro, if you're looking from outside, you say no, Leandro is not the leader, and
Hmm.
what he's done in the locker room that day. Yesterday, we had a conversation uh, talking about the game that we just lost, and it's funny how he's a positive influence, and we hope he can help us. He can play tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
I heard about that.
hopefully he can start helping us, and he's fit. He's
Hmm.
the fittest I've ever seen. I just wish he was this fit last year
Yeah.
when he came. So I'm excited to have him. And what we're going into an hour, and I think we covered a lot of stuff. Do you guys have anything for me? Any questions? Any concerns? Well, concerns you tell me off camera, just so
Okay.
we can try to
The
fix
fridge
it.
is broken.
Yeah.
We need
The
someone to
fridge
fix
is
it.
broken. I'm gonna have to do that. So we need to fix the fridge. I'm
No,
gonna
no,
go.
put the pressure.
I'm not.
It's just since yesterday, so.
I'm gonna go there and fix the fridge and wash the dishes.
Yeah,
today
I'll dry the dishes and we can have a
because in this
conversation as well.
company we are multitasking. So
Yeah.
I'll do that. We'll make sure that we take care of that. But serious on the this is important information. We get the fridge fixed and but what else? What can you say about what's going on? We have 3 wins and 1 loss, playing TBU this weekend, and then the Villages on Wednesday. 2 big games ahead. What can you tell us about those 2 challenges coming up?
We talked about June being the hell month, the month to get through, and if we could get through that on a positive note, then we're going to be very well off. I think the loss on Wednesday was probably important. It sucks always to lose, but it's good, as we talked about before, to realize that you're not unbeatable. So I think it's important to get that lesson early on, so we don't go into a playoff game being arrogant or cocky and losing there. Like now we know it does take a lot of hard work in each game, and we people can't beat us. They can beat us. So I think that's positive. And then obviously these 2 games are massive. The games we have coming up. But yeah, we're excited for it, and we're working hard every day. So we will definitely be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the loss against Florida League sucks, but I think we got a point of proof now because we still Nona. We still put some great work in, and just because we lost 1 game, not everything is bad. So we're going in those 2 games with a chip on our shoulder and trying to prove a point that we still the reigning champion, and we want to play like that. And from now on, I think the goal is and should be to win every game.
So we with the planning, you say June was the hell month, and I remember when we were putting together the schedule. Uh, Guy and his coaching staff, we put up a pretty good planning when it comes to the season.
Hmm.
He had the goal to finish 100% in May, and then he knew that we're gonna have the challenges coming up, and we purposely put in from Open Cup to the three games in May to the next 3 games. We knew that this was going to be so. We're expecting to be at the at the tip of our fitness level and the chemistry and
Hmm.
stuff. Do you think we're there? Do you think we can? I agree with you. It was important the loss, even though it sucks. But I think it was a good message. It's like last year. It was like, hey, wake
Hmm.
up,
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
and from that point on, our team went that. Do you guys feel the same way this year? It's good. I heard it was 2 great sessions after the loss, and the
Oh.
intensity is there, and excited about what's come. Or you think we can definitely go through this hell month?
Of course,
Absolutely,
of course.
and I definitely don't think we're on our top yet. So I think every practice And I said it earlier that everybody is trying to improve every practice, and there's high competition within the team, but a healthy competition. It's not like we don't want to see each other not succeed. It's like we're pushing each other. And I wish we could train more than 3 months together, because I think we got so much space to improve. And there's so many great players. So I think we're far from being on the top of our performance.
You mentioned the healthy competition. I think that's like really important, especially because we have so many good players. Even the players that are on the bench or that are not dressing, they're quality players, and they would probably start on a lot of other teams. So it's important for us that we just keep our main goal, which is the team and the team's success in mind, and then wait for your time. And I think we're doing that, and you can see in practice that people are working really hard in a good way, going physical.
I think it's important for us to understand, though, when it comes to a summer league like this, on overall having the connection with the team is very important. But I think when I watched practice the other day, when you have 6-7 practices at that level every week, as a player, especially the young players like you guys, are developing so much just in practice that the game is just a freebie on top of this. The level of the practice, like you said in college, when you were practicing during COVID and then you went to play games, was completely different. Here is a game every practice. You do 11v11 here at a full blown, you probably have a better quality game than you would in the league or probably in college. So take advantage of that and keep being this. I think since we talked more on the dishwashing experience and
the bonding experience.
Yeah, we had a bonding.
Should do that as a team building. Just wash dishes together.
I do that every day when you cook.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah.
And then with you coming back and stuff, I think you guys connect very well to what we look for. So if I can give you an advice, keep being those good young men and respectful and leaders to the community, or anywhere you go, you guys will be successful. And anything that we can do to help, we'll be here. And I'm glad to have you guys on the team. I'm glad to have you guys representing this community. And you better win tomorrow.
We will.
Guys, thank you so much. And I think we spent about an hour and 10 minutes with Soren from Norway. Just kidding. From Denmark.
Fabio from Argentina.
Oh my God! Now you went low.
Yeah.
And Tarik from Germany. Two of the young players from Nona FC. We're excited, and don't miss tomorrow. We have a 7 p.m. game against TBU here at Austin Tinder Stadium. It's our third home game of the season. We're still undefeated at home, and I want you guys to be there. It's Dennis telling me it's Superheroes Night, and tomorrow we have a major Nona Soccer Care Foundation event. There's about 150 kids from the foster homes in some areas in Orlando, and we are inviting them to the game. So tomorrow we're going to have a nice crowd, everybody wearing orange and supporting Nona FC and doing something special for the community. So see you guys tomorrow. Thank you again, Soren. Thank you again, Tarik. And I need to take the Nona teams to Dana Cup. We didn't talk about that. I was there right before COVID. I went to Joran to watch the games, and we never talked about that. But we'll talk about that some other time.
All right.
So thank you, guys. Thank you, Danny. Thank you for helping us, and I'll see you around. So next week we're gonna try to schedule the next podcast will be with Coach Leahy from the U13 girls team and Coach Peter, who is the visionary on the girls division here at Nona Soccer Academy. They are going to regionals, but where is it? It's Louisiana. It's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They're going to regional after winning the Sunshine State Championship, and we're excited for them. So next week I'm going to be picking their brains and see how they feel about this season and the girls division here at Nona Soccer. So thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow at the game.